On behalf of North Cap University School of Business, would like to welcome our guest, Monisha James. Monisha James is a seasoned, forward-looking HR professional with over 2 decades of experience in human resources, organizational effectiveness, and employee engagement. Currently serves as Senior Director Distribution HR and PNB MetLife Insurance. She plays a pivotal role in aligning people strategy with business goals while fostering a culture of performance, inclusion, and well-being. Over the years, Monisha has successfully led HRBP functions, designed impactful employee experience programs, and driven large-scale organizational effectiveness initiatives. Her leadership has been instrumental in building capabilities, developing high potential talent, and embedding diversity and inclusion in the workplace ethos. Prior to her current role, she held several senior positions within PNB MetLife, including Director Corporate HR and Employee Experience and Associate Director Organization Effectiveness, where she shaped workforces strategies that empower teams and elevated employee satisfaction. Monisha's career journey also includes impactful tenures at Aviva and Genpact, where she honed her skills in talent management, strategic HR interventions, and stakeholder alignment across global teams. A strong believer in human-centric leadership, Monisha is passionate about enabling future-ready organizations and nurturing inclusive, agile, and high-performing cultures that drive through change. With this, I welcome Monisha, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Please, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so how are all of you feeling? Amazing. Okay. What are you expecting from this session? When you walk into the room, did you have any expectations? You didn't know who's coming to address, or maybe you did, but you didn't have a background. So when you walked into the door, what were you expecting? That what is going to happen today? Anyone? It's a free flowing, because if you want, I can stand there and I can address and talk about my journey, corporate life, various things. As ma'am was reading, I was going through from the time that I started. I was also sitting like this one day, in a university, and then life started, professional career started, and one after the other, things kept on coming by, profile kept on enhancing. And by the virtue of all this, I'm sitting in front of you here today and addressing you. So when you walked in today, what were your expectations? How would you like the construct of the session to be? Okay, you would want me to share my journey? Okay, all right. Anything else? Sorry? Okay, all right. Yeah, so she's just, mentioned that we should talk about life insurance sector. Very dear to my heart. I've spent half of my life in this sector. Anything else? That's it. Simple. It's a very, very simple ask to share my journey and insurance sector. Is it okay if I stand? Yes, yes. Yeah, okay. I'm a little more comfortable moving around. I think that's how I'm used to. Thanks. Okay, so see, career from where I started to where I am today. And when I was way back, if I talk about school, I did commerce, then I did my BCom from Delhi University. Oh, मुझे इधर आना? Okay. Started my journey way back with aviation. I was in Lufthansa Airlines, and I spent, there we were into customer service. I was extremely young at that point of time. I was about maybe fresh out of college, joined the airline, started working there, had no clue what is an airline and what kind of work is required in an airline at that point of time. But learned from there, and even today as I stand here, I think the learning from there, managing irate passengers, checking in people, handling situations, today also when you walk into the counter, when we have 1 or 2 kgs extra, तो डर लगता है कि जो चेक इन काउंटर पर है वो कहीं एक्स्ट्रा बैगेज के पैसे नहीं मांग ले, राइट? It really depends on the person who is at the counter, how they deal with that situation. You can either make it a nasty one, or you can equally make it, you know, an engaging one and give a customer experience delight and close it amicably between both the parties who are involved there. So that was the first leg where, you know, as I mentioned, learned customer service, dealing with people, situation management, amongst a lot of, you know, other interesting things which were there. From there on, the BPO bang happened in this country. So, you know, we had Jekis and all coming and setting up offices here. And the exciting part at that time, you know, I'm talking about 96, 98, the exciting part of working in a BPO was कि खाना free मिलता था, right? खाना free मिलता था और cab आती थी pick up करने और drop करने. So that was the exciting part, and then left you know, aviation and moved on to Jekis. Jekis was a call center job that I initially joined in. It was making calls, collections, again something that I had never done. Collections was, I had no clue what collections was. So we had an awesome training experience, very, very, you know, very engaging and very fruitful training which was provided to us. And there we were used to make calls to the US customers and, you know, talk to them. And we were told how to roll our tongue, how to pronounce the names. We were given a different name. I think I was Catherine, because we were supposed to have a pseudo name while talking to the customers. And then learned collections there, how to extract money. And I won every quarter. I still have those certificates with me, and I won every quarter in maximum collections. And we used to get vouchers to go out and do shopping. That was the second part of my journey. And the third industry that I joined is where I am till date, so which was life insurance industry. I started working with Aviva Life Insurance, which was again setting up its base here in the country, and was, I think, fortunate enough to join at a nascent stage when the organization was just setting up. Since I got to do, you know, everything in and around HR, everything, experience every part of HR. And how I moved into HR, I'm sorry I missed, I'll just, you know, go back a little. So I got married, I took a break, and then when I wanted to come back, Jekis was looking for people who could conduct interviews, only conduct interviews. And they approached me and said that, you know, you have been in the role, you understand the role, so there's no one better who would be able to assess people who will fit in the best for the role. And that's how HR happened to me. It was not planned, it was not on the cards. I had never thought about it, that I will, you know, spend eternity of my life in HR, but HR happened. And from there on, the learning into HR, touching all the facets of HR, I don't think there is even a single vertical when I talk about HR which has been untouched in my, you know, about 22, 23 years of journey that I have spent from my professional career. Some learnings from here that I would want to share with you is be open. Have a flexible mindset, have an open mindset. Today, you know, you have a major, you have a minor, you are just starting, you know, your semester and doing your MBA with a lot of hopes and aspirations inside you, because somewhere inside you firmly believe that, you know, this is my calling. I want to do marketing. I understand marketing. I want to do finance. That is my calling. I want to do finance, and I'm very, very clear about it. But be open, be flexible, experiment, see what works for you. Go with the flow at times. What we start with, where we end up. If you talk to maybe, you know, your professors, some of them, when I talk to the senior people in the company, my colleagues, a lot of them started doing engineering, right? Maybe they did engineering with a different thought process in mind. And today, some of them are heading HR. Some of them are heading marketing, because you keep on learning as you evolve. Right? Books make us ready. Our learning makes us ready. It gives us a very, very solid base. It gives us a very solid foundation of what to expect when we step out into the corporate world. However, when we actually step out into the corporate world, the realities might be some bit different than what we were carrying in our mind basis the assumptions that we make when we talk to people, when we are watching series, when we are reading about it, right? But it's a journey. Each one of you sitting here has a journey of their own. Each one of you sitting here will find your path in its own due time. Go with the flow. Ask questions. Ask questions if you are curious. If you're not curious, it becomes very, very boring. If you're not curious about things, why this, why that, how did this happen, why this is required, how will it translate into, if you're given a task, and I tell my team, I lead a team of about 50 people now, if I give a task and, for example, the individual would not come back and ask me anything, in my mind, I've given a task, you have understood, over and done with. If you come back on the day and you deliver something that was not expected at all from you, right? You should have taken the opportunity to clarify what was required. You need to know if you are being asked to do something, even if it is a project. If you have been given one of the projects, ask and get a clarity, how is this project going to impact some of the other areas? What is it that we are looking for at the end of this project, at the end of this conclusion? How will it translate into learning, right? Are you comfortable asking questions? Do you ask questions? You believe in asking questions? You don't? You do? Okay. Can you narrate an incident when you asked a question and it was actually a learning experience for you? Okay, you'll ask me questions. Okay, all right, you're most welcome to ask questions. Okay. So be curious, raise your hand. Okay. If there is an opportunity, if there is any kind of an opportunity that comes, don't hesitate. Raise your hand, grab that opportunity, and don't procrastinate in your mind, करना चाहिए कि नहीं करना चाहिए, और don't decide पहले कि मुझसे कैसे होगा. Even if there are multiple projects or multiple avenues where your professors, your teachers are asking you to deliver, and maybe there is something in your personal life also which requires you to deliver at that point of time. Don't shut the door to it, thinking before, how will I do it? If you are interested, raise your hand, grab that opportunity, and then come up with a plan, with people, with your coaches, with your mentors. How do you approach it? How do you manage your time in meeting the expectations that are expected at your university and maybe at back home? I think all these things helped me reach a stage, reach a level in HR where I knew in my mind that yes, this is what I want to do and this is what I want to become a subject matter expert in. And from there on, I moved to PNB MetLife, which is my current organization. I've spent about 17.5 years working here, implementing, like I said, I think everything starting from, talent acquisition to compensation, performance management, succession planning, organizational behavior, talent, everything which is there. And it's by the virtue of the experience, in every facet of HR that also I am able to go back and contribute to the business. Because in today's corporate world, you need to have an alignment with the business, whether it is marketing, whether it's finance, whether we were just chatting over lunch about business analytics, that how important it's become in today's world. There is nothing without data. There is nothing without analytics that a decision can be taken today. You need to take intelligent decisions. You need to have data right in front of your eyes. So that's my journey in a nutshell. If I talk about insurance industry, in a very simple sentence, as per me, it's one of the most noble industries. You are selling insurance, you are insuring the life. We all need to, we know the circle of life. Birth, you live your life, and then you need to go away one day. Every soul who's come here, every body which is present here needs to go one day. You are selling life insurance to an individual, you are securing their lives, you are securing their families from, you know, you are safeguarding them from the calamity that has to happen one day, but in case, God forbid, if it happens earlier. So it's an extremely noble profession. How the industry is comprised, while I'm sure all of you are aware, the different functions which are there. So in life insurance also, there is a business intelligence unit now. There is a digitization function now, other than run-of-the-mill BAU, HR, finance, marketing, actuarial, internal audit, right? These are the new ones which have come up in the last about maybe 5 years. There is a team which is dedicated on data analytics, which will gather all the data for a period of time, churn it, bring it out, throw some analysis, some insights to you. There is a team, when we click, do we have patience? Do we have patience? We do? You do? Should I take your Wi-Fi password away? Will you survive? Okay, you don't use Wi-Fi? Okay, will you survive without your phone? We can't, right? That's how times have changed. Yesterday there was a complete, the Airtel grid had gone down completely, and I took a work from home. Morning 9 o'clock I got up and I was fidgeting. I was walking here and there because I was not able to log in. I was not able to send messages. I was not able to do anything, right? So what I mean to say is that, you know, patience, and by the virtue of the generations changing, the access that you all have from the time that you were born, you don't have time to wait. So our digitization team, what they work is to make life simple for the customer. Right? They are the ones who come up with that one touch of the button and you'll have your entire policy document here. You don't need to go. We are even getting irritated of getting OTPs now. I am irritated. Anyone else? You are too? Me too, right? So we are even tired of getting OTPs. So we are even working our, you know, the digitization team, the digital team, analytics team, we are even working on how, you know, we can do that once you have logged in, your device is registered. If it is the same device which is logging in next time, we will not send an OTP to you. This is all part of life insurance industry. It's an extremely exciting industry. The right time to be associated with this industry, with the Prime Minister's vision of insurance for all by 2047, where, you know, that's the vision that our PM is driving, that everyone needs to have a life insurance. The products are changing. While, you know, I'm not the expert, you have an expert who can talk about products here. I'm not the expert to talk about products, but the way products are evolving, the way products are changing. Initially, it was only कि term लेकर अपनी life secure कर लो, बस अगर मर गए तो पैसे मिल जाएंगे. Now there are different kind of products which cater to different segments, starting from securing, you know, your child, your teenager, your pension plan, your savings and retirement. That is the segmentation that is done. Who does this segmentation? The customer service team. After they do the segmentation, they come back with all the study, they do a mystery shopping, they come back, they hand it over to the product team. This is what we are hearing from the market. This is what, you know, the pulse is telling us. These are the people who should be our target audience. Then the product gets designed. And like I said, finance, HR, you know, most of you would be aware about that, you know, how they, you know, seamlessly integrate themselves into business related decisions. And that's in a nutshell how a life insurance industry operates. The key functions, the changing evolution of, you know, the functions which are there, whether it's business analytics, whether it is IT, or whether it is, you know, other data related things which are there. I'll stop here. Any questions, anything more that I can, you know, help you understand? Sit please.
HR role for years now. The role of an HR has evolved over the years because it's not just interviewing.
Absolutely.
So what additional has been?
Okay. So like I told you, when I started HR, it was just interviews. Go interview candidate, fill up the assessment sheet, ठीक है, नहीं ठीक है, ये आपका salary bracket है, बस आप इतना ही offer कर सकते हो, right? Make the offer, issue it to the person, over and done with, finished, right? Today, when I talk about HR, you know, the team is involved in it's not only recruitment, it starts from headcount plan. Okay, even getting into the discussions of if finance comes and tells me that you are getting a headcount of 100, business has a target of X. We even get into discussions whether these 100 people are enough to meet the plan which the business has been given. Okay, then out of these 100, how many people, there's a month-wise phasing because it's called seasonality. Okay, in a financial industry, April, May, June will always be lean months. क्योंकि मार्च में आपका फाइनेंशियल ईयर एंडिंग होता है, अप्रैल शुरू होता है, सब थके हुए होते हैं, सब रिक्यूपरेट कर रहे होते हैं, राइट? एंड देन आपको हेड काउंट धीरे धीरे करके बढ़ानी है. क्यों धीरे धीरे करके हेड काउंट बढ़ाएंगे हम? वाई? फ्रॉम अप्रैल, मई, जून, जुलाई, अगस्त, सितंबर, वाई इज देयर एन इंक्रीजिंग ट्रेंड? वाई डू यू थिंक? Anyone? There are no right or wrong answers.
Because if I recruit somebody,
Okay.
generally it is more because the work.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. The other thing is, see, April, May, June, I said are lean months, right? So business will be lean. Okay? Therefore, the head count is less. So from 40, you slowly start graduating because salary is a fixed cost. If I'm employing all of you, right? 70% of you do your goal sheet, 30% don't do your goal sheet. Will I end up paying 30% salary to those 30% people or 100%? 100%, right? So it's a recurring outflow which is going from my budget. क्योंकि वो तो मेरा cost है ना, जाने ही जाने. Therefore, manpower planning, the way HR is involved in manpower planning now, I have not seen it, maybe 20, 25 years back that there was so much of involvement. Discussing how the phasing will be. What segment of people will you hire? And in PNB MetLife, we are dealing with 21 business channels. So my team manages 21 business verticals. The requirement of a person who is deployed to manage Punjab National Bank relationship, it's a joint venture between PNB and MetLife, will be very different from the person who I have shortlisted and offered to manage a Karnataka bank relationship. Will be very different from the individual who I am hiring for a direct sales model, जहाँ पर आपके insurance agents आकर आपको insurance बेचते हैं. So getting into making a profiling, we call it as FLS profiling, making a profiling for every role that exists in the company. What is the skill which is required? Now, we were talking about analytics and how HR has evolved. So now, the HR team has picked up data for last 4 years. Okay? 4 साल का data, सबको, जिनको हमने recruit करा था, we have picked up everyone. Okay? बहुत जने obviously छोड़ गए होंगे, turnover high रहता है इस industry में, लोग छोड़ गए होंगे, लोग होंगे अभी. Now, though that has been cut into who are the people who were high performers, who are the people who stayed with the company for more than 1 year, okay? Who are the people who were low performers who left the company early. Then we have arrived at कि अगर मुझे North 2, which is my Punjab, Haryana, Himachal, that side, अगर मुझे वहाँ पर recruitment करनी है, तो मेरे candidate का profile कैसे लगता है? Housewife will be successful. Somebody who's in the age bracket of 25 to 30 will be successful. Someone who has their own vehicle will be successful. For example, that is for one geography. For the other geography, it might come that married people are more successful, right? Somebody with children is more successful. So that is the kind of drill down that HR is doing. Not business analytics. We partner with business analytics, but that's the kind of change which has happened. Getting into business. Again, when we hire somebody for business, they are given a goal sheet. We all have our goal sheets that we have to achieve, right? If someone is not able to achieve, क्यों वो नहीं कर पाया है? Why is the person not able to achieve the goal sheet? Okay? What are the interventions that we can do? We do coaching, we do guiding, we do focused sessions with them. कि आपकी कॉल खुल तो गई, आपको एक लीड मिल गई, मेरे को इनकी लीड मिल गई कि आई नीड टू गो एंड सेल इंश्योरेंस टू हिम, बट रेकरिंग मैं देखती हूँ कि बार बार आई एम नॉट एबल टू क्लोज दैट लीड, आई एम नॉट एबल टू कन्वर्ट दैट लीड, नॉट एबल टू क्लोज, दैट मीन्स मेरे को क्लोजिंग में प्रॉब्लम है, आई डोंट नो हाउ टू क्लोज अ लीड. So we partner with the training team and we ensure that this person gets specific interventions related to how to close a deal, and then we track their success, that how the matrix have moved to where they were to where they are today. Planning the career progression, who should get promoted? Somebody who's at 90% should get promoted, somebody should 100% get promoted. Is 80% good enough? Is 85% good enough? If we are not able to promote them, what do we do? Else they will leave and go. How do I keep them engaged? So that is, in a nutshell. There are a lot of other things too, but that is a nutshell, in what HR very, very closely works and makes business, enable moving forward. Does that answer your question? Do you get some clarity, or I managed to confuse you more? You did? Okay.
How can an HR person decide the promotion?
We only decide.
But how?
Yeah. Goal sheet.
The analytics person is doing well, but how can the HR person evaluate his or her work?
Okay. So see, it's two segments. One, when you look at, there are people managers, there are non-sales roles. Okay. In the non-sales roles, everyone needs to come up with their goal sheet. Okay. You make your goal sheet and you need to upload your goal sheets in the month of April. So goal sheets, I will design my goal sheet in agreement with my manager that these are my deliverables. Now that goal sheet is frozen through the year till the time you have a role change in between. When we start our performance appraisal cycle, then we again open the goal sheet. आपने लिखा था that I will ensure 95% of manning. Okay, आपका delivery क्या हुआ? I have delivered 93% of manning. 2% आपका shortfall है, right? So same way you are judged on the goals. Okay, आप अपनी rating देते हो self rating. You think you have still done very well. 95 करना था, 93 कर लिया, मैंने अच्छा करा है. You might rate yourself exceeds expectation. Okay, and that way your goal sheet gets closed. This is what you have given. Then discussion happens with business and with HR. See, why the discussion is important is because I am a manager, right? It's human nature that I will want to promote my team if I like my team. It's also human nature that somewhere we have an unconscious bias. I might like him more than him, right? It's an unconscious bias. Like I said, we all are humans, we all have it. We can say I don't have it, but we still have it. HR plays the role of questioning. इसके तो गोल शीट में 93 है, आप कह रहे हो इसको प्रमोट करना है, इसकी गोल शीट में 95 है, आप कह रहे हो इसको प्रमोट नहीं करना है. So this is a healthy discussion that HR has to reach to the correct conclusion, the correct identification of people. That's how we partner in promotion with supervisors and with other than sales. In sales, HR controls the promotion, at least in this industry or in here mostly, because it's completely goal sheet related. अगर आपने अपनी गोल शीट अचीव करी है, you will get promoted. कितना पैसा बढ़ेगा आपका HR बताएगा, और क्या क्या पैरामीटर्स हम चेक करेंगे. For example, there is a term called persistency. I have sold a policy, but it's also important that customers should pay every year for me to make money as a company. If people stop paying, then I end up in a loss. Okay? So we define the vectors and then we identify the population, and then we go back and tell the line that these are your people who should get promoted. They have finished their goal sheet, they have finished everything, and the decision is taken together. Helps you understand? Anything else, anyone?
Do we need to do any separate certification?
Okay, okay. See, a lot of times when I ask people, HR, people say, I like talking to people, therefore I want to be in HR. HR is not about talking to people. HR is understanding about a human psychology. If you need to feel passionately about people, needless to say, because we're dealing with human beings, right? So you need to have that empathetic, behavior in you. You need to feel strongly about people. Again, I will repeat, you need to feel strongly about people. You need to be ready to be available to the population that you're catering to at any point of time, because you are the one that they will come to. Why this is important is because business plays their role. Business is hard taskmaster, right? They will ask them for targets, they will ask them for delivery, they will ask them for various other things, right? But HR has to seamlessly seep in and bring the human element, and coach, guide, have lot of patience while dealing with various situations. You need to be patient, because you cannot react. You always will have to be responsive. If you decide to move ahead with HR, I think, it's a great institute where you are working. And we were fortunate enough to have 4 students do an internship with us in the last about 2 to 3 months. And I think they worked very well on the project that was given to them. So right now, my advice would be that, this is good enough what you're doing here. Work for some time, work for a few years. Because as I mentioned, when you work, it's a different, it's a different experience altogether. And then if you want to enhance your qualification further, if you want to, get a spike in your compensation, if you want to aspire for more senior roles, then I would encourage you that you must do a specialization in HR as, moving forward. Very interesting, thanks. See, up till now, it's not creating disruption to a lot of extent. Currently, again, if I talk about our organization, it is really helping us. The model that I was talking about, FLS profiling, that's one of, the AI-based tools that we are experimenting. So it helps me churn, the profile and everything, and then it comes to HRBP for the interview. So what it is doing, it is enabling me to spend less of my time in sifting through 1000 CVs. क्योंकि वो काम मेरे लिए कर मुझे वो सिर्फ जो 500 relevant है वो दे रहा है अभी. What we are still debating with this, and then the human intervention. Currently, we as a company firmly believe that nothing will supersede human intervention. Then the interview with the HRBP, who is an in-person interview that happens, that is non-negotiable, that will stay. But we just had some visitors from MetLife where, they did speak about that there are, what you're mentioning, that there are AI bots which are conducting the interview for you, right? There are, those video interviews which are happening where you are being asked a question and the candidates are responding, and you don't need a human being to sit there and get an assessment done. Whether it's going to be successful or not, honestly, I am still, I can't say with surety that it will create a disruption, because empathy, quick situation management, responding to the need of the hour with that human emotion, I think will stay with that, but you never know with the way things are moving. If AI is conducting the interviews, for example, if a bot is conducting the interview, right, they will throw you the assessment. They will throw you the assessment and they will tell that, yes, this, candidate who we have spoken with, uska ye pura assessment hai, ye profile hai. Then I only need people to roll out the offers, right? Then the team which is there, which conducts interviews, if it creates a disruption, right, then 40, 50 people who are there currently conducting interviews might no longer be required. If we see success in the data that AI is giving me, and that, you know, we will only see with the changing times. If any organization comes forward and says that, you know, we have recruited 4,000 people through AI, out of this 4,000, we see success of 3,500, which was unheard of before. Then you can say with surety that yes, the interviews which are being conducted and the candidates which are being shortlisted through AI is the right way of assessment, and it's shortlisting the right candidates. But till that time happens, you know, I don't think we can completely go by a machine telling us that, you know, this is the ideal profile. See, it can, I agree with you. And even that, if you completely, you know, appraisals, if you completely make it system, if you remove any human intervention, कि मतलब मैनेजर से आपको बात भी नहीं करनी, जो सिस्टम में गोल शीट डली हुई है उसके अगेंस्ट अचीवेबल्स डले हुए हैं, सिर्फ उसी बेसिस पे हम डिसीजन लेंगे, then anyways it's a simple thing for somebody to sit behind the desk, put it in the Excel and throw out the result. कि आपकी 5 exceeds है, आप below expectation हो, आप poor performer हो. But unfortunately, we don't operate in that kind of an environment. Because behavior, ethics, values, effort, कितनी बारी होता है कि आप effort बहुत करते हो मगर outcome नहीं आता. But that doesn't mean that I should take away all your hard work and the effort that you have done. Therefore, as I said, you know, human intervention, human decisions, for me, it will never go out. I will always give more weightage to a person standing in front of me rather than a machine being in front of me. But that's me. How many of you are thinking of, you know, HR as their mainstream? Okay. Okay. Anything else anything else you would want me to? I think like I said, have that streak of experimenting. Have that streak of looking at the way things are right now and thinking out of the box, thinking very, very differently. Being solution oriented, coming up with a different approach. And needless to say, like I remind my team every week when we have the call, that, you know, planning, organizing, being disciplined, these are non-negotiable, you know, in any kind of a profile that we look forward to hiring. Because if you have these three things, there is nothing that can stop you from success. What we, you know, don't encourage is tardy attitude, needless to say, without, you know, saying. Having respect is non-negotiable again. You need to have respect because we all are very different. And like I said, the patience is going down. But having the patience to understand the individual who's in front of you, where they are coming from, why, you know, they have a view which is different than mine. It should be taken in a positive sense, that, you know, his or her view is different. Not that, you know, because he or she doesn't agree with me, that, you know, I am not going to take this ahead, I'm not going to talk, and I just walk away. These are things in today's workforce that, you know, will help you succeed, will help you get through maybe, you know, the interviews that you have, and you know, take you to the job that you are actually aspiring for. Yes, yes. We have faced this because we are a multi-generational workforce. You know, we have people we just celebrated retirement of someone. So, you know, we have people who are almost touching 60 who have been with the organization for many years. And then on the other hand, you know, we have you know, the Gen Zs walking in at the workplace. It was difficult. It was, you know, difficult for us as an organization because it is challenging to change the thought process of people if people have fixed mindset. That's why, if you know, I started saying be flexible in your approach. During COVID, and you know, little after that, we had recruited a lot of people, and you know, for us, month ends, quarter ends are long working hours. A lot of times people have to stay back at office also because you need to close the books of account. We don't have the luxury कि कल कर लेंगे, because we are governed by an body, IRDA, Regulatory Development Authority, which is their insurance. It governs us. So हमको अगर close करना है, login करना है, business डालना है तो डालना ही है, वो कल नहीं हो सकता. And then we had recruited people, and I saw a lot of resignations, you know, started coming in suddenly. And then I traveled to Bombay and I spoke with some of them. And the reason was, again, you know, right or wrong is debatable. But the reason that, you know, at least 2 or 3 people who I personally met, they quoted me was, ma'am, I have to go back home. I'm newly married. I need to go back home to have dinner with my wife. And honestly, some people laughed. Some people laughed about it. कि यार ऐसा क्या हो गया, हम भी तो नहीं जाते थे. But when you take a step back and when you look at it from an outside point of view, me being me again, my personal view, you know, salute to the person, to the individual who's so clear कि मेरे लिए ये ज़रूरी है. It is non-negotiable. मुझे जाना है अगर तो मुझे जाना है और मुझे वो करना है. I will do the best from the time that I come in till the time I'm there. But after that, you know, I am not able to deal with this kind of a stress. I am not able to deal with, you know, the kind of pressures which are there. So, like I said, I understood it, but it is difficult, it is challenging because we have seen the other part. We have seen that, you know, if I talk about myself, I have seen myself, you know, working till wee hours in the night. I have seen myself not being able to stand up and say no to my boss. That was out of respect, but मैं आज भी शायद वो नहीं कर सकती because that is how I was brought up. I'm not debating the value system at all. I'm sure this generation has equally awesome value system. But मैं आज भी मना नहीं कर सकती. If you'll call me up at 10 and say I need something at 11, I will drop everything and I will do it. But I need to respect if somebody turns around and says that I cannot do it. I cannot do it because this is my family time. I'm spending time with my parents. I'm, you know, spending time. So we worked a lot. We, you know, we did some workshops also because it was important for us to make, you know, the older generation understand the newer generation's work point of view, and for newer generation also to keep a little bit of patience in the workforce when you are coming, little bit of, you know, come with an open mindset कि थोड़ा सा मुझे भी adjust करना पड़ेगा. कई बारी हम जब देखते हैं, with all due respect to everyone here, that, you know, the generations become a little too privileged. Not a generic statement, but some of them, little too privileged. That, you know, zara sa bhi aap kuch bol do, they are not able to take the feedback. But a feedback is a feedback and it has to be given for your growth. It is not that I'm giving you feedback because आज मेरा दिल कर रहा है देने के लिए. But जब तक कोई मुझे feedback नहीं देगा, how will I get to know that, you know, how do I need to improve? So there were some cases where we saw that, you know, the youngsters who joined were absolutely close to it, were not receptive to it, had, like I said, tardiness, had no respect for the, you know, the timing. If it is 9 to 6, it is 9 to 6. When you sign on the appointment letter, you know it is 9 to 6. If you can't do it, then don't sign it. Then don't take up the job. Then look for a work from home job. But so it is both ways, and I think it is equally important for both the generations to understand where each one is coming from, pick up the best of both the worlds, and you know, just be patient with it and give it some time, not react instantly कि job छोड़ दो, ये तो company अच्छी नहीं है, यहाँ पर तो ये होता है. Try to understand why it is happening.
ask this question, I would request you to share the journey of the organization that you represent. Because not with the first year students, many of them were
Yeah. So PNB Bank, everyone knows? Heard about the PNB Bank? Okay, all right. So we start, okay, yeah. So we in fact had our 24th company's Founders Day yesterday. So we have been in this, a country for 24 years now, PNB MetLife. We started as a South-based organization. We were headquartered in Bangalore, 2001. So we were headquartered in Bangalore, and we started from there. And our partners were KBL, Karnataka Bank Limited, and Jammu and Kashmir Bank, who were our partners. And then we moved to Gurgaon in 2004. The headquarters were moved to Gurgaon, and the tie-up. So MetLife is the largest insurance company in US. It is more than 154 years old in US, and in 2013, PNB and MetLife came together, and that's how we became PNB MetLife. It's a joint venture that we have. In terms of the reach, PNB has about 10,000 plus branches that we cater to. That's our bancassurance partnership, where our employees are deployed, not across all the branches, but our employees are deployed and they sell life insurance to the PNB Bank customers, whoever approaches in the branch. So 10,500 branches there. Then we have tie-up, as I mentioned, with JKB, KBL, and ESAF, small Unity Bank, and various other small channels which are there, which gives us access to about another, I think, 8,000 to 9,000 branches which are there. The other business verticals which are there, I think we are spread across, like I said, agency, which was our esteemed erstwhile agency head, Subhashish, was heading our entire sales at that point of time. And we have other businesses like Credit Life, partnership distribution model. So the journey from there has only been growth, positive, and acquiring more and more distributions. So we recently signed up a new venture very recently with Mahindra Home Finance Limited, where we have also got an step in with them, and yeah.
There are no further questions. Please pardon the informality, because Monisha and I have been colleagues in life, and a very dear friend and a colleague at that point of time. I was with PNB MetLife for about 6 years.
Absolutely, wonderful 6 years. Lot of new things. I was sorry, but I was talking about experimentation. The model that Subhashish introduced, at that point of time, which was unheard of, is called insurance manager. I will not get into the nitty-gritty of the details, but it was unheard of in the insurance industry at that point of time. It was started under his leadership, and then the companies copied it like this, and that is what is sustaining our agency today as I talk. So, and it was completely experimental. I think, we had to go through fight with legal, fight with compliance, but he was very sure that we have to do this. So that was out of the box thinking, which has now translated into, a norm and a reality. But it didn't happen at that time. Sorry.
I stood up to thank you. Actually, I ended up doing thank you. So thank you so much for spending the time. It makes our job as a faculty also easier, because we keep on telling the students possibly similar things, but oh, okay, you are recording that. So, but when somebody like you comes from the industry, who is currently working in a responsible and a very senior position, you say the same thing, it becomes like the validation. So thank you so much for spending the
Thank
time.
you so much for calling.
And thank you for sponsoring 4 of our students who did a summer training. I have interacted with 2 of them. 2 of them are actually napped to me.
Okay.
I was a mentor to them. So they were very happy working at
Okay, thank you.
Government Life.
Thanks.
I'm sure you know our interaction will continue.
Absolutely.
Look forward to seeing you on the campus sometime.
Absolutely. I'll be more than happy to. If any one of you wants to reach out, especially if you